quick disclaimer, but this video is inconsistent in quality, because Layer 2 took a year to release, so ignore my bad voice acting, and just know that the video picks up a lot at the 3-minute mark. So if at any point between 1 and 3 minutes you feel bored, just skip to 2 minutes and 58 seconds and the video gets exponentially better. Anyway, enjoy. This is Deepwoken, a Roblox game which will steal your soul, mind, and $200 from your bank account. After buying this game, you need to decide whether you will take the path of being based or cringe. Upon making your first character, you'll be able to choose your name, and you'll be able to choose between 8 variations of cringe. As we are trying to become ultimately based, we will choose based heavy and based no magic, because magic is for pussy. After creating your warrior of cringe, you will now go to the trial of sus to individually vote out every imposter and get 20 levels for free. The first enemy here is the shark giant from Bloodborne, but let's ignore that and inject these monsters.
You retard!
After voting out all the sussy amogus imposters and getting your crewmate win, you are now required to level up to gain based power and awaken from your cringe state. Now there are 2 ways to level up. The cringe way, where you head to Sunseeker Island and fight a bunch of players who are more cringe than you, or the based way, where you kill more sussy imposters. And as you know, around these parts, we're only based. After leveling up, you are now base enough to fight the only 2 bosses worth fighting. This is the only boss you actually will ever need to fight. Welcome to Forced LGBT Representation, also known as the Duke. This bitch hits, and I mean very hard. The Duke starts out with his anti-fun shield that you need to break by hitting it before you can actually play the game. After you break his cisgender security, he summons 3 transgender defenders which you can easily one-shot. You must also make sure to block, parry, and dodge his brain damage balls, his queer spear, his cinephile counter, and what I do to women. Did I mention that this guy hits hard? Well, he has a full 2-piece wind combo, and it hits so hard you might end up in a different game. And in order to escape this different game, you need to kill 5 losers who are too poor to afford Deepwoken. After getting your ass kicked back into this hell, you are now finally ready to actually beat the Duke.
Now that there is literally nothing to do in this game and you are adequately progressed, you can do the only thing you progress to do. Gank. Gank is not a word in the dictionary, but it is the best way to divide guilds and nations alike. And now it's what you're going to do to every brain-dead idiot you see past level 40. Ganking isn't the same as fighting NPCs, because players, although they might act like NPCs, don't have set patterns. However, you may eventually become based enough to learn patterns that individuals have.
But for now, just focus on block, parrying, and dodging to kill everyone in your way, because if you never get hit, you can't lose. And the thing about fighting other players is that it goes on longer than the 100-Year War, and in order to not get bored after your 4th hour ganking, you need to be on large amounts of cocaine. And trust me when I say this, it's not an addiction, it's just a habit.
What you just saw is what is known as a successful gank. A successful gank is what happens when you and your guild are better than them and their guild. But what if the enemy is better than you and your guild?
I can't beat him. He's too based. And I'm too cringe. I have to surpass him. I have to go full racist. Remember your training. You killed 100 monkeys. You are racist.
As a whole, Deepwoken is a bad game, and I would not recommend buying it to anyone ever. The $220 I spent making this video is more worth the $4 that I spent on Deepwoken. And besides, it's not like Layer 2 is coming out anytime soon.
Well, since Layer 2 is out, I should probably talk about the depths first.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Before I talk about the depths, you might notice that I'm on a different build for the rest of this video. Not only a different build, but a gay fist build. There is, however, an explanation for this. First of all, this video before this point was made a whole 4 months ago, and also this build is more fun, so let me explain to you with a graph. As you can see here, the x-axis, or the horizontal line, represents homosexuality, and the y-axis, or the vertical line, represents fun. There's a direct correlation with homosexuality increasing fun, because gay means happy, and with my build landing somewhere here on the graph, I can say that I am proudly having a good time playing Deepwoken for once. Anyway, the depths is the first big black layer of Garfield's interdimensional lasagna. The depths has two things which actually matter. The big black man who surely can't throw that ass in a circle that you kill to leave the depths, and bells. Bells are the thing you ring to get your neighbor's attention, and similarly to that type of bell, you are ringing God's doorbell so he will bestow upon you divine powers once every 30 seconds. Do you guys remember the Duke from 6 minutes ago? Well, in order to get your bell, you need to do that with less editing 8 more times. No, you have to do this 8 times. Afterwards, you get killed in the depths and you'll receive your divine intervention.
Think fast, chuckle nuts!
Heavy like a brinks truck, looking like I'm ticked shining like your wristwatch. I'ma grab your wrist, locking down to the thing pop. Can you stick around for a minute to the rings?
Now about that big black man. Similarly to a normal black man, if he starts running at you while spinning, you want to run as fast as you can. Not so similarly to a normal black man, he wields a giant axe and is actually extremely easy to fight. However, he often enters California mode. In California mode, he will kill you and your router. He can teleport and he has hitbox extenders. However, when he enters California mode, you can often DM one of the useful Deepwoken staff to receive a restore for your life. However, if you don't have YouTuber privilege, you can expect to stay wiped and lose your build. What a good and professional staff team. And that brings us into Layer 2, also known as the meat. It's called the meat because it's what the devs put in all of our mouths, making us wait a year for this update. But anyway, let's get into it. In order to reach Layer 2, you either need to go into Castlelight, but the only way you can do that is by entering through a whirlpool. Alternatively, you can kill yourself. And now we're in Layer 2, where 67% of trans people are found. In Layer 2, our main source of anguish comes from snow and wind, similarly to anyone who lives in Canada, or New York. After getting blown a little too hard, you eventually make it to the bridge, where you find the
You owe $50,000 in back taxes to the IRS.
In this biblically accurate representation of hell, we are required to find a spear and turn on a generator. What if these things have anything to do with each other? Well, I could break a generator with a spear, and the new killer in Dead by Daylight might have a spear. Before you turn on the generator, you need to fight Sans the skeleton. After properly filing your 1099 form and turning on the generator, you now need to make your way down to Furfire Encampment and talk to their chief to proceed.
Please kill me.
After doing that, we can make our way to the final boss, the Chaser.
I summon thee. Femboy fishing. Oh, I thought this was where that boss fight went. Never mind, forget I said that.
Hello, big guy. We came here to save you from the depths.
I think you misunderstand. I am in hell, not Twitter.
Aren't you only here for that Depths Layer 2 Diverussy?
Who dares invoke their might against me?
That sounds pretty sus.
It's ultra killing time!
Welcome everyone to the Chaser, a unique boss fight which uses the power of 1,000 periods in order to beat your ass back to Layer 1. He also...
Mom. You left the fucking sink on, you stupid cow. Shit's flooded in here. It's gonna fry my computer. Mom.
Let's just ignore that and cue the montage.
My hands shall relic, ending you here and now!
After beating Chaser, we wake up in a strange place with some strange people. After going to a library and reading the King James Bible, we are able to
Give me your kid, your lives are mine.
ignore the human traffickers and proceed. Eventually, you will find yourself at the Colosseum. Welcome, everybody, to the High Lord, the Scion of Ethiron. In this fight, it struggles in the way every large boss does. It's too big to actually be a boss fight. When fighting the Scion of Ethiron, your goal is to take his bones and place them in altars while dodging and parrying several tons of crush force, which should be way too large for any man to handle. After getting him into the bone zone, you can now use your weapon, which is 1/1,000,000th of his size, to kill him. Like, actually, this is like if a colony of 2 ants tried to kill me by flogging me to death. It wouldn't work. Once the Scion of Ethiron is dead, you must now run, because Russia has declared nuclear war on the United States, and you being in the top 1% of people need to take your spaceship and get to space before everything is gone. I would use as the world caves in for this part, but because that's copyright, I literally cannot unless I want all my money to get thrown straight down to Ethiron. So enjoy my terrible cover. Oh, it's you. I watch TV as the world as the world caves in. As the world